All right, well, welcome to SANDCAST podcast. Today we got Canyon Ceman here, one of the OGs in beach volleyball, currently working for Marine Wealth Advisors under Momentum Independent Network. Hopefully I said that right. And Canyon's, like I said, one of the OGs in the sport. He's got plenty of stories. We ran into each other recently down at the new surf club in Redondo and hit it off, and I knew I had to get him on the show because he's got lots of stories. Former AVCA Player of the Year for Stanford. Mm-hmm. Did some work out on the AVP in the 90s, early 2000s.
94 all the way 2008.
To 2008. Best setter at one point. Maybe unofficially MVP one year. I know they're on and off with giving the awards all the time.
Yeah,
so
2000.
But I've heard about that one. But welcome to the show, Canyon.
Thanks you
for coming.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Of both yours personally and the show. So
thank you, sir.
Happy to be on it.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. It's fun. There's certain names in the sport where I've heard the name, but I never actually met you. That's how it was when Kent Steffes came on for the first time. I'm like, where does this guy even exist? Because you see some of the older guys, a lot of them are just like sticking around and cruising down on the beach.
Coaching,
so I see them all the time, coaching, exactly. But it's been a pleasure to get you on the show, and excited to get into everything you've been up to.
Yeah, I reached out to you because, I liked what I saw and the way you present yourself as a professional. I'm attracted to like professionals and people who put it all out there and give it all to their sport. And I also, the fact that you had dealt with a lot of health issues resonated for me.
Yeah.
Because I've had a lot of health issues that I dealt with during my career that, shortened my career in the same way that yours has been shortened. Mm-hmm. And then also just the fact that you had sort of announced your retirement, resonated for me because I'm very passionate about this topic of post-athletic career transitions. Mm-hmm. I had a harder one than I expected, and when people are going through them, I feel connected to them and want to help in any way I can. So that's kind of the original reason I reached out to you, but it led, the conversation led in all kinds of different directions at this sort of interesting moment in time in your life.
Yeah.
And, in my life, I've kind of reconnected to the sport after taking like a 10-year, cleansing.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to give back in all kinds of different ways, and it's all connected. So
yeah, and you've been in touch with Travis a little bit over the years as well, I think, right? I'm sure he's the ultimate journalist, so I'm sure he
he didn't seek me out. I think we played in the 6-man together last year, 12 months ago, and we sort of touched a little bit on each other then. That was weird. Connected on a few topics then. Right. One of the topics was back in like 94 through 2000, I guess all the way through 2008, I wrote a lot of columns for Dig Magazine, Volleyball Magazine, and one of my columns was essentially, 10 things you should know, which, if it was 2025 would have been some version of a podcast or a blog, something, right? Mm-hmm. Because it was essentially, the inside scoop of what's really going on the AVP tour from a player's perspective, which,
there it is.
For the players, by the players, it's kind of what I was trying to do. And it's a thin line because you can't give everything because you're still a player and you're competing and you got to live with these people and you've got to compete against them every day. But you also want to give real, authentic, interesting things to the audience. Yeah. Both audiences that really know stuff and audiences that are just like, what I'll call the casual fan. Like it's an interesting task to inform an audience of volleyball fans with the right stuff that doesn't offend your competition.
It's been a long time learning for us with it, and we try. Tiptoeing that line, especially like when we're gonna have we want the players to keep coming on the show, right? So we really have to like open it up and make each guest kind of make the episode whatever they want it to be,
right?
Sorta, and you definitely have to tiptoe a line. I'm glad it's podcast.
Yeah.
Open format, a little more casual than writing. I probably would have got burnt out a while ago. This would have just been only the Travis show if it was writing, but no, it's been cool. I'm happy that you reconnected to it because I've been kind of thinking now that I'm officially retired, which is weird to say. This is my first time saying that publicly.
I think we chose the date well.
Right. That's true. But it's been interesting just thinking about post-career and how involved I want to be in volleyball. And obviously the podcast is going to keep me fairly connected. Yeah. But, I'm curious how it was, how that whole journey was for you. Let's get into your journey in volleyball first. Let's bring people back up to date. And, how did it start? You're a local boy from here in the South Bay.
Mm-hmm. I grew up right between Manhattan and Hermosa on Duncan Avenue. I touched beach volleyball for the first time when I was like 11. And just, went down to the beach with my mom at 19th Street in Hermosa Beach, literally, a block from here.
Yeah.
There's a couple of men, Dick Blount and Jerry Costello, that were like the early sort of, hey, come play with us. And then I just, I was 5 feet and practiced my cut shot a lot, and got the hands early, and sort of, the whole 10,000 hours, I started pretty early on that, of just like, I really liked it. It was a place where I could excel and also love it.
So it was all beach from the beginning?
Well, from like 11 to 13 or whatever. And then, even in middle school in these parts, you'll go, at the time there were like these hard courts in El Segundo, and I'd go play with like Pat Ivey and David Swadek, and then Brian Ivey, who was an eventual Olympian and probably one of the top 5 indoor players ever from the U.S.
Isn't Swadek on the pier?
Swadek's on the pier, which that's a hard one for me. Sorry. You'll hear that theme a few times. I'm not on the pier, which
I know. I know that feeling.
Yeah. But Swati and he brought me onto the AVP tour, and he and I were like our first teammates, both in high school and coming up through the amateur, CVBA, AAAs and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, the point is that there was clearly a volleyball culture then here, as there is now. And I was lucky to, be a part of that. Volleyball wasn't my first love. I loved basketball.
Yeah.
And I touched on every sport like most, young athletes, but I thought basketball was my thing, maybe a little tennis. And then sort of didn't know what I didn't know, and then came into the Miracosta situation and, learned, you better try out for volleyball now. And like, all right, I'll try out. And then, made the Frost Soft team. That was the senior year when, Eric Fonoy Moana and Brian Ivey were seniors at Miracosta. Carl Henkel, 3 future Olympians, stacked team.
Yeah.
They ended up losing to Newport Harbor with Hugh Foster. You might remember that name.
Yeah.
One of the OGs.
I remember Hugh Foster.
Amazingly talented
I grew
guy.
up around Hugh and his family in Hawaii.
So the point is, when you're impressionable 14, 15, and that's the seniors, that makes an impression, right?
For sure.
And I saw like, this great volleyball can be awesome. And then, we have a really good little freshman core here. And I still played basketball, but that became like, clearly I'm playing volleyball. That's what's happening here.
Right.
And then, got good. And then, but still, sorry, I'm giving you a long version because
that's why it's
tell
podcast.
this story very often. You can edit it out if you need to.
No, not at all.
So then, did the normal Frost Soft, then JV as a sophomore, but always, good program. So like, we were like, I don't know, varsity, I hope so. And then my junior year played behind Jason Stimfig. You might remember that name. Stimfig, national team setter.
Okay.
Still sets all around here and like just butter.
Wait, what position were you indoor?
Setter.
That's what I thought. Okay.
6'2" setter would have been like perfect.
And you're a lefty?
Righty? No, I'm righty.
Righty. Okay.
I'm righty.
Travis wishes.
Yeah. Big serve, big arm, sort of aggressive setter.
Heavy ball. Yeah.
But still, my highest best use indoor was setter because I wasn't like some crazy jumper. But I had good skills and sort of general body control, but I just wasn't touching 12 feet. I was touching, 11.3.
Right, yeah.
Which made me a great setter, but not a great OH1 or whatever.
I think that was right around where I was at.
Yeah. Anyway, between my junior and senior year, I ended up going to the Olympic Festival, and that's kind of where like I had the moment of like, I could be good at this. I beat out the guy that was playing at Stanford, and I was playing with all the best guys in the country at my age group, and we won the gold medal, and I was with Fonoy, and it was like, that was like the come up moment.
Yeah.
And then senior year, we won it all indoor, high school, club. I got MVP at the club thing, and I was like, this is happening.
Yeah.
So then went to Stanford. During this time, also playing beach in the summers, but as you remember, you kind of were indoor first back then, and there wasn't like a beach first path. There was indoor first, and beach is kind of like the nice to have.
Right.
And then played with Swadek as an amateur and kind of came up through that stuff. And then went to Stanford, played indoor at Stanford, 4 years starter as a setter. A lot of great teammates, a lot of good teams, including Mike Lambert and Matt Furbringer. They were both 2 years behind me. So I played with Lambo 2 years and with Furbringer 1 year because he redshirted.
Okay.
Plenty of other names, but those are the real beach names.
For sure.
And, the guys that became legends. And then in the summers would again play beach. 1 year I was on the national team, 1 year I was on the beach team or beach tour.
Yeah.
And sort of felt like I wasn't sure where it was going to go because I liked both of them a lot.
Yeah.
And then Stanford ended sort of unceremoniously. There's a theme here where I got a lot of seconds, like way too many seconds for my comfort zone. In the NCAA championship match, Manhattan Open Finals a couple times, King of the Beach. But got second 1 year, ranked number 1, 3 of the 4 years, but that's a whole other story. And then it ended just like with a whimper, not with a bang, when we didn't get to the Final Four my senior year. And got to go to a beach tournament with Swati like 2 weeks later. And, just like you're just hurting from that sort of snubbing from the Final Four. David Swati,
we were number 1 year seed my senior year, and we pretty much just choked in the Final Four.
Yeah. So we won our regional tournament, which every year from all of history before that had made you the 4th team, the at-large berth in the Final Four. But that year, the Final Four was in Indiana. They chose IPFW, ranked 12th over Stanford, ranked 2nd. And it was yet another data point in a long series of like, me and USA Volleyball might not get along that great.
Right. It's still a weird conversation, that whole choosing the NCAA berths and whatnot.
Yeah. Anyway, so Swadek, who was on the AVP tour, asked me to play after we had 4 years of amateur together. And in our first couple tournaments, we got like a 4th in San Jose and a 9th in San Francisco. And all of a sudden I was like on the tour with points and didn't have to qualify, which, as you know, like that's valuable.
Yes.
And so it was sort of like, well, I guess I'm playing pro beach volleyball now.
And the tour was, I know it's went through dips, but that was thriving.
No, 94 was among the peak years of all of the history of
that might have been
beach volleyball.
Easier choice for you.
Yeah, it was a no-brainer.
To go out there. You saw who were the? I mean, I know the Karches and all them were probably peaking around.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a long peak.
I don't
for
know
those
what
guys.
Karch and Kent would say their peak was, but certainly from like, I mean, they won the gold in '96.
Loyola had just come in.
Yep.
Around then.
Loyola and Angelino were 3 years on and clearly established.
In. Okay. Yeah.
Whitmarsh and Dodd were still there.
Yep.
Lewis, Akitabi.
Yeah. Just
Akitabi at his peak was a beast.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of names at the top.
Yeah, okay.
And Ricky Luty's,
great
Timmons
sponsors,
dabbling,
people
Pat
making
Powers.
money.
I always give this data point to just contrast for guys or women now is like that year I think I was ranked 36th my first year, and I made with sponsors and prize money something like $75,000. Which sounds amazing right now, right?
Yeah.
So that was like, and I was 21.
That's
and
crazy,
spent like 6 of the months at my parents' basement.
Yeah, right.
And like this will work.
Loving life.
I can do this.
Yeah. I think now $75,000 just playing AVP. Granted, you guys played a lot more tournaments.
Yeah.
Like 20 plus at that point, I want to say, right?
Yeah.
I would say maybe no one's doing it just on AVP, making even 75.
Yeah.
I mean, add sponsors in maybe, yeah, but total package, like the guys 5 through 10 probably, or
individuals
probably
5 through 10.
Individuals, but not all of them.
Right.
But like somewhere in there is where you would fall nowadays.
You got to be doing smart stuff off the court to get that.
And then throw inflation in there.
Right. Yeah, it saddens me. I'm sure it saddens all of us that love beach volleyball that this is where we are in terms of the income for the current players because the level's very high.
Yeah.
In terms of the men's side, and the sort of thin pipeline at the bottom, which is just a reflection of like young athletes making rational decisions. Like, where can I actually do this? The answer is there's like 10 of us that can do it on the beach, or 150 that can play indoors overseas. Right.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
Yeah. No, I would say. I said individuals, maybe teams, 5 through 10. The guys on those 5 through 10 teams, the top 10 guys should be making more. It just depends on sponsorships. But it's not ideal.
No, it's still, I still tell people like, you will look back on this fondly, no matter what that check says.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the experiences that you'll remember. It's the relationships and the adventures and the fact that like I got paid to play pro beach volleyball, even if it wasn't paid that well. Like, I still count 2007 and 8 when I did not make a lot of money as like I played pro beach volleyball for those 2 years.
Right, 100%.
Still counts,
especially when you're young.
And you keep your fixed costs low, and you find your way around the world, and it's kind of some of it's paid for, and maybe you get a secret check over here for doing
right.
A 4-man, and like it's fun.
Not all the money's on the BVB, by the way. With sponsorship, and then you have these little clinics, and these clinics people pay you $1,000 to go play this.
There's a 4-man in Brazil.
Random stuff.
Glorious little adventures,
lifestyle value stuff. So like looking back, what are the kind of things that stand out to you most that you think back on now, being a few years out?
Yeah, so I played AVP from 94 to 2008. So I think that fact alone is something I'm very proud of. I played for 15 years.
Seriously.
Like you, I had health limitations that, some of my competitors would play 23 years, or, Karch was 45 when he retired. Exactly. I get that there's a lot longer, but still 15 years is a real athletic career.
For sure.
And, I'm sort of proud of the fact that I did it with, a leg that has a lot of problems called lymphedema. We'll probably touch that later.
Yeah, that's it.
But just the 15 years of a life that was my primary income source, and that was my primary driver in my life, I am very proud of. So that's like the overall viewpoint. The fact that the AVP started to go show financial stress for the first time, or at least the first time I experienced it, in like the sort of 98-ish region. I think you'll probably know exactly what I'm talking about right now, which is there's a certain time in your life, young man, where the only thing that matters is like the pursuit of greatness.
Right.
I just want to get to number one.
Yeah.
And I'll do whatever it takes, and nothing else matters.
Yeah.
And then I was sort of on that path. Like, if you just do it by ranking, if you do it by like feel, if you do it by like confidence, and I'm going like it was just 38 to 24 to 12 to 6, and I felt
it made
top
sense.
5 coming, and it was coming.
It made sense to be on that.
Yeah, and then and you also at the time, Karch and Kent were up in that $1 million a year range, and you're like doing the math. Like, if I can, this chart goes like that, and this chart, like, this is looking good here.
Right. Yeah.
Things are happening.
Yep.
I'll buy some rental real estate because I'm making assumptions, planning my future, and building towards it. And then 98 happens, and like, oh, this tour might go bankrupt. Oh, and so now what? Or am I still doing this? Are my assumptions accurate anymore? And I just have vivid memories of that sort of 97, 98 time going, okay, well, I don't know how long this is going to last. I thought this was this plan, but I don't know what this plan is right now, but I know that I love it. I don't know how long it's going to last.
Right.
So what do I love it? I love the season, which is the competing and the training and the grinding and the traveling.
Yeah.
But I also love the freedom of the off season.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go. I'm gonna go after it in the off season, and so I guess that the fact that I can like look in the mirror and say I took full advantage of every opportunity that the sport of volleyball offered me, from 4 months off where I could go take a semester abroad in Australia or whatever, work on my doomed guitar, or actually pretty good writing. Because I could I could go to South America for 3 months. I could go to Southeast Asia for 3 months. I could travel the world and like learn all the things that you can do while you do that.
And you were thinking of like, I need to build up skills that are going to be valuable to me post volleyball, or more just interests and expanding.
So that came later.
Yourself.
That came later, which we'll get to that. But it's part of the same thing, which is you have this opportunity, which is I am making money by playing volleyball, but look at all of this other time and opportunity I also have to make the most of. And how do I make the most of it?
Yeah.
So first thought was, I'm going to travel the world.
Yeah.
Did that for, most of 10 years. And that's become kind of my big passion.
And you weren't it wasn't as much on the world tour, right? You
played in fact, I didn't play on the world tour that much, but that had a lot to do with just like partner timing and politics.
And the world tour wasn't.
It was rising, and there was good stuff happening, but it made more sense. It made more sense playing the AVP for sure, for a lot of those years, right? And then I was playing with Mike Whitmarsh, rest in peace, from like 2000, 2004, and he was kind of over it, even though he was still great at it. Like he was still one of the most dominant forces on the FIVB, but he also had young kids, and he had won a medal. Yeah, and he was just like, no, I'm an AVP guy, and I'm like, but we could do both. We could probably make the 04 Olympics, and this. Yeah. I still to this day, it's a what if for me. Like, could we have done it? And there's all kinds of detail on that, but the point is that the world tour never felt like the obvious decision for me, largely because of partner realities, and also because the AVP was good, and you didn't want to necessarily leave the AVP to go do that. The Olympics forced it on you to a certain extent, but less so than now, and blah, blah, blah. So
I would say if the modern day players, and I'll speak for myself here, but if I had to guess, most of us would ideally spend like 70% of our time on the AVP if we could, and then dabble on the world tour, maybe 6 on the world tour and 15 or something, at home, 10 to 12,
I bet
whatever.
I could name the 6 events on the World Tour.
Yeah, right. You probably could.
Stad's one of them. I know that.
Of course. There's been a few one-offs.
Klagenfurt was one of them.
Yeah, exactly. I got a few Klagenfurts in Croatia. Pretty much all the ones that Hannes Jägerhofer.
Right. I was going to reference him at some point.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, I think we all kind of wish. I look back at my career, and I think I probably spent maybe 65-70% of my events were on the World Tour.
Really?
Which is kind of wild.
Yeah.
I averaged, I'm probably guessing here, but I would guess that I averaged 4 or 5 AVPs a year.
I would have thought higher. I would have thought 8 or 10.
If you look at my total amount of AVPs played, it's ridiculously low.
Yeah,
whether it's injury, I took the 2 years off, and the tour, whatever. We had to sacrifice. I was going for the Olympics every time, so I'd sacrifice AVPs, and so I've played maybe 50 to 60 AVPs only. Yeah, that's
a bummer.
It's not gonna compare with the stats with these other guys who have won more AVPs than I've played in.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's just so fun. AVP was just
AVP when it's going right is great. And look, not every event was always a home run, but there were enough a year that it was great. From Grand Haven, Michigan to Boulder, Colorado to Clearwater, Florida.
Where was like the sneaky spot that you wouldn't think people would show up?
Grand Haven was one of them, right?
Yeah, that's what
Muskegon, those kind of Midwest towns that if done right, like you. There was still sort of the heritage of the Miller Lite promotions where like they'd bring people out. Yeah. And, Muskegon or Cleveland was great.
Cleveland.
Yeah. Just a lot of Midwest audiences where they were promoted properly. The event was in the same place every year.
Chicago is probably my favorite.
You asked for secret ones. That's not a secret.
That's not a secret. But in terms
Chicago.
of, I don't think people give the Midwest enough credit for being like a hot spot for beach volleyball. The fans show up.
And think about that in the mid-90s when it was peaking. Like Chicago was raging.
Milwaukee
was great.
Milwaukee's my first win.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only time I played there too.
It's a great volleyball audience. Belmar was I won 3 tournaments in Belmar, New Jersey. I love the Jersey Shore.
That was that was a Cuervo, I guess. That one, a few years where it was a Cuervo. But I came in with my buddy Jeff Carlson, backup setter at SC with me, and we John Hyden and Evie Matthews were the 1 seed because Sean Scott got hurt. Evie subbed in, and we played, and we were dead last and beat him. That was in Belmar, and that ended up being kind of my in with Hyden, because that's all I knew about me.
Yeah,
and then I came out and trained with him. He gave me a little more of his attention.
Yeah.
So Belmar, I'm very happy about Belmar. Yeah. Even though we probably got 9th that tournament.
I know exactly what you mean though. There's these little turning point moments that, well, that's maybe why that happened.
Yeah. Whether it's in middle school, high school, same thing.
Whatever.
Or for me, it's those little tournaments at Outrigger growing up.
Yeah.
Beating Alika Williams for the first time, or those hometown. The guys that were dominating. Yeah, I saw that photo.
There was this one event that I still kind of think about more than I probably should because it was Mike Whitmarsh, Al Jantz, and James Fellows. It was a 4-man, but only 2 people played. So you kind of you could sub in. Whitty was the captain of this 4-man team.
I've always wanted to have sub,
right?
So you have like a bench. I feel like having a bench is kind of entertaining. Yeah. Because fans can watch your interaction as well.
Yep. And you construct the team for certain situations. So I was the side-out partner.
Yeah.
Whitty was the blocker, obviously. Al Jantz was like the defense partner. Yeah. And then James Fellows was like the serving specialist. And so depending on the situation, Whitty was great at that kind of stuff.
AVP, the league thing they're running now, I feel like that could be cool, actually.
Problem is there's a lot of things you could do to twist with it.
They'd have to pay more athletes. That's the problem.
Yeah. I think there's... Yeah, well, we'll get into that. The point is that in that tournament, it was in Long Beach, which has always stayed kind of a hub of, funky tournaments for the... going to be where the Olympics are going to be. Yeah. We won it. And that was in, I want to say, 95. And I always thought, that's in 97. I got a call from Whitty to play with him when Dodd got hurt.
Yeah.
We had a little dalliance then. And I might not quite have been ready to take that final leap, if you know what I mean, of what Whitty represented. And then he dropped me, I think, for Louis after that. The point is, but then in 2000, when he was looking around again, when Swati he and Swati had a good first half of 2000. I'm sorry, 99, and then Whitty chose me in 2000, and that, those little moments string together.
Yeah,
you could tell by the way I'm talking about, and that was my favorite partnership, right?
Yeah.
But like you go, so the 95 tournament that I had one good tournament with him led to the 97, which led to the best 5-year run that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And we have these, and as you get older, that stuff marinates, and it's like, that was great.
Right.
A lot of the little stuff that, at the time, I don't like that guy because we compete all the time.
Right.
A lot of that just goes away.
Yeah.
It's just, we all competed, we had a great life.
Mm-hmm.
How great was that?
You're going at each other.
Yeah.
And it's just accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how was, or do you have any I don't know, off the court memories from travel or something that stand? I'm sure you have plenty.
Yeah, I got a million of them.
But any that stand out now?
What I always liked, so there's so many, it's hard to nail down a few.
Was it generally like the dinners or the going out and seeing something or
that big dinner
party
when
maybe,
the crew arrives,
yeah.
and you have that, into some of the cool Chicago, right?
Yes.
Or Belmar when you spend the first night in New York City, and there's this pre-tournament energy where you're building towards this event that you're all promoting together.
Right.
You're going to be competing, but at the same time, it's like there's that fun. We're going to Chicago this week, and we're arriving on Tuesday because the promoters want us to do this thing, and now everyone's got a dinner, and you train that day, and that feeling of both camaraderie, but also a little competitive edge, but also like a life experience that you found this great restaurant in Chicago. Annual, we would go to Gibson's.
Energy is coming up a little bit.
You could feel it, right? That feeling of the fan energy building, that's magical, and when it's gone, it's gone. And that hurts.
That's actually a good.
You're gonna miss that one.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel lucky that I got to experience that. We had player parties. Like I said, I played in these Hannes Jägerhofer events, the big money ones, and a bunch of good events over the years. But we lost it after COVID. Yeah. No more player parties. There's not much promotion. They're not bringing us in early. There's not that energy isn't building. It's you show up, you play, you leave. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. The connection with the fans is missing a little bit. Yeah. That's something I would like to. The fact that you're saying that's what you remember and some of your best memories, looking back on it now, says a lot. Yeah. And I think that would be advice that I would give is let's bring back that energy, that feeling, make it more of an experience for the fans, for the players as well. Yeah. Because if the players are having a good time and more into it, then the fans are going to feel it. Yeah.
The same goes for just when you're a player, you're sort of thinking about optimizing performance. I think in hindsight, if I had it to do over again, I would have never arrived the night before a tournament. It would have always been at least a day, 24 hours before that, and maybe even longer. And why not stretch it? Why am I rushing home for? What's happening on Monday afternoon that I need to be home for? That
was one of my biggest regrets was when I left after Milwaukee, because my flight was just Sunday night. It was
I gotta go.
But I got my first AVP win. Yeah. I think there was a music festival. Yep. Some people were staying. I was like, I won, and I literally went straight to the airport, running to the airport. Yep. And then I got back. I was like, why did I do that? I should have stayed. I should have canceled or whatever. Yeah. Enjoy my first win.
Yeah. So the first the first win, I won Hermosa 97, which I literally rode a skateboard there.
Your hometown
tournament first win with Dane Blanton.
You skated down from
my parents' house like 6 blocks away, and then we beat Kent, Steffes and Loyola, who was number 1 team at the time, in the finals, and we were big upset. We had to beat all the best to get there, so that stands out as in terms of on court. Oh yeah, that's the one, right? That's huge. And it was the biggest prize money tournament ever at the time. So those kind of, that's nice. And then the idea of, you heard me mention Stade or Belmar, after we won Belmar, we went to New York City for 2 days as a crew, and we played in Central Park, and we had big steak dinners, really appreciated the fact that we had this opportunity to do this for a living. Yeah. That stands out. And Belmar 3 times, the couple of specific volleyball highlights that are a little, more subtle that I definitely quote to some people sometimes that are, I think reveal, the experience I had. In 1992, David Swadek and I were 20-year-old amateurs, and we played Karch and Kent on center court in Manhattan on like, Friday afternoon in the round of 16 because
Yeah.
we had beaten like John Stevenson and Wes Welch and Leif Hansen and Scott Frederiksen, like all these OGs.
Yeah.
And we were amateurs, and we had, been sort of the power, and then got to play Karch and Kent in front of, everybody we'd ever met at that point in our lives, in Manhattan in the middle of their 13 tournament win streak, which was, the best streak of all time. House money, but no money because we were amateurs and there were hard rules at the time. And we were tied 9-9.
Nothing to lose. Yeah.
9-9 on center court. Swati had just stuffed Karch's ankle or whatever, you know what that means. They beat us 15-9 because they were like, and we're done with these amateurs. But the point, like that moment of, 9-9 on your hometown court. Are we going to beat Karch and Kent? That one always stands out in my mind. Karch was there for my entire career, even though he was 10 years older than me. He was the guy, right? It was more so for my era, Karch, than what would eventually become Phil, right?
Right.
That like, oh, that's the standard. Okay, I got to do better than that.
Do you feel like Karch was a little more of the, not more, obviously his playing speaks for itself, but like the brand of Karch Kiraly, because he created an amazing brand. Was it a little more of that than the dominant player? Because for Phil, I feel like Phil didn't really care to build this brand of the Phil Dalhausser. He just absolutely dominated you and made you talk about him later, kind of thing. But how is it playing Karch, who's still probably considered the GOAT to a lot of people?
To me, those are the two GOATs. Those are my GOATs. Yeah. But I might be.
Well, he wasn't
domestically biased.
6'9", jumping 40 inches.
That's where I was going, right? He dominated you with his brain.
Okay.
Right? So there was a time. So I played him through a 15-year period, or I guess a 14-year period, right?
Yeah.
So in '96, the Karch that would beat you by like smashing sharp angle in front of your face 15 times in a row.
Right.
The Karch that would beat you in 2007 would like do like a pokey middle deep because you were going to the Karch angle cut shot, and he would just do like this little soft pokey, and it was a whole different
middle
kind of
deep, that's
it was
the worst.
mental.
That's the worst.
He just mentally dominated you.
Yeah.
I can still remember like the kind. It was 2007 and playing against Karch and Kevin Wong and realizing like I have no chance. I'm no longer capable of beating this team, and he's 10 years older than me.
Wonger was a thinker too, right?
Wonger was. He was a great blocker against me. Like he was great, disciplined, against guys
low
like
angles.
me that I benefited from undisciplined blocking.
Okay.
And he was just, I'm taking this space.
Yeah.
If you can hit around me, great.
Because he wasn't a big jumper, but he's long.
But he's long, and his hands are in the right
Very
place,
good hands.
and smart, and thinks he's the thinking man's blocker.
For sure.
So he was definitely someone who touched a lot of my hits.
Got it, yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I can get a kill. And then Karch would just go up and be like, soft poke to the corner. That's fun. I don't know if I have the mental stamina to deal with this anymore. So when you lost, I played Phil, as he was on the first ramp of his greatness, and I was already past mine.
I mean, 2008, you stopped.
We beat him in like 03, 04, 05. Yeah, before they were good, right?
Got it.
And then he got with Todd, and I was never close again, right?
Yeah. No one was.
Nobody was, right? So you had the feeling of like, the only chance you have of beating Phil is if he's not there mentally.
Don't wake up the beast.
Don't wake up the beast.
You want to play him early.
Play him early. He's bored. Whatever. He hasn't decided to turn up his block jump yet. Whatever. Yeah. With Karch, you never had that opportunity. He was always mentally tuned in.
Yeah.
Maybe later in his career, his shoulder didn't feel that good.
Right.
So you could get more of his shots.
Got it.
Or like Whitty actually affected him. That was one of my favorite runs. Was in 2002. Me and Whitmarsh beat Karch and Doble 6 times in a row. Oof. Which I'm not sure anyone's ever beat Karch 6 times in a row.
Right.
At any version of this sport. Yeah. So I consider that like one of my lifetime achievements.
For sure.
But the point was Woody had a pretty good read on like when and a pretty jump pretty high and could touch Karch's line shot. So I had if Woody dove angle, I had a pretty good chance of getting Karch's back to the line. If Woody dove line, I had either he was going to like shoot middle or go sharp, and I could get some enough of them to compete. Right. And then Doble was big but a little late sometimes, so I could chisel a lot. So I say all that to demonstrate A, I just clearly love it and remember it like it was yesterday.
Yes.
And B, that Phil dominated you physically. Karch dominated you with his brain.
Yes.
And the only way you could get into Karch is if sometimes his body didn't feel all right.
Right.
Yeah.
Which he played till
he's 45
so
and
it's gonna happen.
Still to this day, you can sort of see him doing his his warm up exercises in the tent, just staring into the distance, and you're like, I don't know if I can compete with that. Like,
he just had like the combination of the. So many great players today or nowadays, but he had like all those pieces. Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
I see video, Instagram of course makes you see a lot of highlights. So now DeFalco comes on my Instagram feed a lot just because you're like, wow, that got Meg's line.
That's an arm right
there.
I've
seen a recent juxtaposition of DeFalco with Karch, and it was like Karch low pass to Dusty. Dusty shoots a super fast set to the antenna. Karch bangs it, and it looks exactly like DeFalco.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so the point is, I mean, he was 6'3" with like 45-inch hops.
Yeah, okay.
But what really separated him in the way that people talk about Michael Jordan is the mental toughness, where like there was never a chance of a mental letdown. Like it was not happening.
That's what I've gathered.
To Kent's
and the leadership and all that. Yeah.
And to Kent's, I guess, in an attestation to Kent's greatness, so you could say similar things about him. Like you weren't getting a mentally weak version of Kent Steffes.
He never for a second ever believed that he wasn't the best player out
Correct.
there. Whether it was true or not is kind of right.
Very often true.
Yeah.
But
and then he's with Karch at the same time. You're like,
they were tough.
Well, one of you has got to be better than the other.
Yeah. I have one story that people like from 1995. Dane Blanton and I were like on the come up.
Yeah.
We had just gotten a 5th and a 7th. No, so now we're in the finals against Karch and Kent. And we were up 12-8, and I've watched this many times now. They sided out 31 times in a row to beat us. And we lost like 15-13 honorably, but they sided out 31 times in a row.
Jeez.
Yeah. And we were bombing our jump serves, I assure you. So a little indicator of who they are.
Yeah, I remember hearing, I want to say Karch was on the Michael Gervais podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. That makes sense.
Finding Mastery.
Yep.
And was just talking about his mindset of being able to he thought one of his greatest assets was his ability to reset and just play one point over and over and over. And then setting up drills like that where it was just see how many times you can do the same thing and just repeat it.
I always said, so me and Whitty would practice in San Clemente or Doheny against Karch and Doble or Karch and AJ, Karch.
Yeah.
On like Tuesday morning in a windstorm. And it was an absolute beatdown every time. Because Whitty definitely wasn't the most committed, like, I'm going to dominate in practice. He's like, let's just get some reps.
Yeah, there's always
and
those.
You'd just be like serving Karch and you'd just be like, boom, boom, gang. Are we going to do this again? We're going to go drive to Doheny to just get beaten down for 2 hours by Karch in the wind?
Yeah.
That's how we're doing?
Right. Because he probably saw it as an opportunity. He's like, we're going to play in the wind.
Yeah. I also remember, on this professionalism idea, I did an exhibition with Karch. I think it was at Notre Dame. And we flew in for, Miller Lite sponsored like Played Pros, and Karch's like, want to go? Yep. So we got to do like a cigarette boat across from Chicago to Notre Dame, and we did it. And we show up that night, and it was, essentially all of the volleyball bar patrons could find their way on the court to play some points against us.
Oh, cool.
And he was the same guy. And it was, I was like,
are we supposed to be destroying these guys?
Is this what we're supposed to do? I thought we're supposed to like make them almost get it.
There's
and
been
like tease
it
a little bit.
Right. There's been a few players where we've done stuff like that. I'm like, dude, we're supposed to like let them maybe dig a ball or something. You're like destroying them.
No, yeah. Which now at this again stage of
they
life, you realize that's what they want, right?
That's probably that experience.
They're not trying to be out there so you patty cake it to them. Like crush me.
If they dig Karch cry, they want
to be mean.
They want to be able
right?
to tell their friends like, and he tried.
So I learned a lot from him about professionalism, and about how to approach the game, respect. Right, no matter what, he showed respect to his opponent, to himself, to his teammates, to the staff at the AVP, to the medical tent. Although he very rarely visited the.
After he ripped the net down, the ref off there.
A few moments. He's a human being. A few moments of frailty.
That's part of the value too. You gotta. I think showing that emotion on the court, obviously.
Yeah,
that was a unique one, and also made him even more of a legend because of it. But I think that's important too. Like 100%. Show and
it's what's missing,
and get your stuff together after. Yeah. Be humble, whatever. But like, let out if you're pissed. Like, let this fan see it.
I have a very strong opinion on this topic. I think the sports become overregulated. I think that the refs are too empowered, and especially on the FIVB tour, they're just like. And you're just like, are the fans here to watch you ref, or are they here to watch me play volleyball?
It's like you're in school again,
and the way they treat you, like the way the FIVB refs treat players is so dismissive that it really angers me.
Yeah, no. And try being in the game. You're like, wait, no, I need to tell you something right now. They're like stiff arming you. Yeah.
Like, no, after terrible. Making a terrible, like their ninth terrible throw
and then
call.
you cross the back line to serve and they blow it. Yeah. Before you turn around. Ball hits your hand, they blow it. You're like, dude.
I want to give all of them. I want to give the entire sport like storytelling lessons. Let's talk about what entertainment is built on. It's built on storytelling. How do you tell stories? You tell stories with emotion, with characters. How do you build emotion in characters? You give it time. You have extended matches that have extended drama.
Okay.
And we could talk about this for 5 hours.
I definitely want to get into this.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap up the career first. You mentioned you had a health issue with your leg.
Yeah.
I can relate. Just briefly, like what happened there and how did it affect you?
Yeah. So I have lymphedema in my left leg, which basically means my lymphatic system in my left leg wasn't fully developed when I was born. Most common way people might recognize lymphedema is like in a woman who's had a mastectomy and had some lymph nodes removed in her armpit and now is wearing like an arm sleeve.
Yeah.
That's probably the most visible version of lymphedema. That's called secondary lymphedema. What I have is called primary lymphedema, which means you're just born with it. So my lymphatic nodes and channels in my left leg didn't ever work right. So I have a relatively mild case of it. Like the bad versions of this are ugly.
Right.
And,
I think I've seen
elephantiasis is like the ultimate worst version of it, where you get this giant limb.
Yeah.
And it can happen all over your body, not just limbs. Anyway, so being an athlete, in a way, can help it because you're moving a lot, you're doing the right things, you're living a clean lifestyle, like your
blood flow,
right. You're eating right, you're taking care of your body.
Right.
That helps take care of this. But in the same way, being a pro athlete who competes on sand around the world, you can get infections.
You do not want extra inflammation.
Extra inflammation, infection, whatever. So this leg was very sensitive to inflammation, infection, and I ended up in the hospital like 10 times.
Oh,
and
especially playing in dirty sand with rocks.
Yeah,
and
I ended up in a Brazilian hospital, a Swiss hospital, a Thai hospital, all kinds of places.
Not where you want to be.
Not where you want to be. Chicago hospital. And the point is, like, maybe a cut on your toe that you'd get that would just be a cut on your toe. Yeah. If I got it on my left leg, it would get super inflamed, and I end up with a really bad infection in the hospital, IV antibiotics, etc.
Yeah, like I don't know if there's tournaments where I didn't get a cut.
Right.
right by the end of it.
Right. So I've heard you recently talk about the idea of how many times you had to sort of like reset and start from the beginning over your career. Mine, it never went from like 10 to 0, but it went from like 10 to 5.
Yeah.
And so, it's June 1st, everyone's in peak form, and I've now been in the hospital, and I've got a 4-week recovery to really get back to it. We both know that like there's 90% and there's 100%. Right?
Oh, for sure.
You could get back to like, can I play volleyball? Yes. But am I my best self?
Yeah.
No. So I had a lot of those in my career, 8, 10. And they derailed a few partnerships because people are like, can I rely on this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think so.
Yeah,
I'm pretty good.
As far as I'm concerned, yes. But.
And also they, I just, in the off seasons, I couldn't just be full speed. And I was never like the hardest trainer because I had to manage my body. And again, I know you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I think in a way, because I was playing with this, it motivated me to play as long as I could to like prove a point. Like I can do this.
Totally.
But it reduced my athleticism, pretty quickly after like 03. I can remember like 03 still being like one of the more physical, and then quickly being like, oh, the jump is down, the lateral movement's down. And so it expedited the descent of the back end of my career in a way that, someone like a Todd Rogers that could go another 10 years at that level.
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I know obviously my issue has a lot to do with inflammation as well. And when it's present, like, you're not jumping. You're not jumping. Your range of motion's goners. Yeah. I mean, it's wild that you played that long. Yeah.
Right. Endurance.
It's
one of the first things to go. Like
for sure.
Power endurance.
Yeah. Fatigue, mental fatigue, all that.
So, so that's one of the big sort of stories of my career. That's a little bit of what might have been. I won 8 tournaments. I kind of think I was like a 20, 25 tournament winner guy.
Right.
If I can keep Whitty in 97 and have, there's that sort of like what could have been. I probably think I could have won Manhattan. I lost Manhattan twice close.
I know what you mean.
Like, there's that regret of like what might have been, but then there's the feeling of, no, I had a great run.
Right.
I had a 15-year career. I did it with a thing that would have stopped a lot of people in their tracks.
Yes.
And I'm super proud of that. And, so it's like you get older and you realize, like, in the hindsight of age and time, like, that was great.
Right. And I think that would be like my biggest message too to like the younger athletes is like, you got to resist the temptation to compare yourself to other athletes, because you all have so much different circumstances.
Yeah.
Like, are you doing the best you can with what you're given?
Right.
Which is, we all got egos, and
That's
our egos
That's the answer.
are important as well as athletes, right? Like, we use those to win and push us. And I mean, you still got a chip on your I could tell, like,
I have it right now.
But that's probably serving you now in your current job and whatnot. But I also think it's so important to have that, like, you know what? Let's not compare to other people. Let's just, like, appreciate what I did have and what I did get. Because I bet everyone at the end of their career is probably looking back with some kind of, like, what if I could have, or you know, even Phil and Karch and these guys that are.
I don't know about them, but
there's probably one or two out there where they're like, damn it, I let that get away.
Yeah.
I beat Phil in my first final. Maybe he wanted Milwaukee really bad, and he keeps him up at night. I wish. But yeah, no, I mean, I just think that's good for athletes to hear.
Yeah.
From someone who's literally retired last week and someone who's retired, I don't know, 12, 15, 14,
2008,
15 years
September
ago, whatever.
12th, 2008.
Okay. Yeah.
Ish. Give
or
take. You said a key phrase.
Yeah.
Did I make the most of what I was given? Did I do the best I could with what I had?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question, right?
Yeah.
And that's always the question I ask anybody is, like, can you look in the mirror and say you did the best with what you got? If the answer is yes, then the rest is good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to be able to put that in perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. So then the end, 2008. How's that transition? Let's get into that transition and where your head was at, and maybe, like, advice that, because you gave me a little bit of advice already when we chatted, but what advice would you have for, you know, the next generations, and or even people that are thinking, like, young guys aren't thinking about it at all, middle of their career guys maybe are like, well, I'm gonna have to start thinking about it eventually. Yeah. And the other guys are like, probably need to start thinking about it.
I have so much to say on this topic that I need you to help edit me and, like, help corral me, right?
Because I'm excited to get to the entertainment aspect of sports.
September of 2008, I had been kind of, you know, like 4 years falling down the ranks, and a couple of years, and I used to use the term I Brett Favre'd it. Like, I probably should have retired maybe a year or two before I did.
Hey, Favre came to my Vikings and balled out last year until that interception, but he kind of had a resurgence.
Yeah, I didn't. But I literally, the weekend of that Lehman Brothers collapsed, you know, which is, if you look in hindsight, like, that's probably the moment that the great financial crisis was like, oh, it's official.
That's
we're having
exactly
it.
What,
yeah,
right,
it's literally the day that, like, oh, we're having a financial crisis.
Right.
That was the day that I retired. It was Manhattan Open, and I thought I was going to come back in.
Good timing.
Much like you, like, one last one, maybe I'll get a fifth or a I'm not going to win it, but could I get a fifth, sneak into a ninth? Mm-hmm. And this is like a R-rated story that I'm going to give a G version of, but the point is that it was like first day of qualifier, and I was playing with a guy I never played with before because Casey Patterson, who was my partner for that year, decided I'm going to play with someone else to get ready for next year.
Casey had been there for a little bit at that point?
It was his first year, like real year.
First year.
And he was blocking and I was defending, and I was, like, definitely, you know, past my prime, and he was not a great blocker, so we were not a great team. He ended up winning a tournament, like, the next year, like tournament number 3 with Loomis as like a split, which was... Let's just say another indicator, like, it's time to go.
Team energy drink, yell their heads off.
Yeah. And so I dove to my right, and let's just say something in my body said, it's over. Your career's over. And I don't think I'm ready. I don't think I need to give this on a podcast. Oh, yeah, my career was over. Like, yep, right now, career's over. And it was not orthopedic. It was another system of the body.
Oh, gosh.
Like, and we're done. And I'll tell you afterwards what exactly it was, or someone can ask in the comment section, and I'll tell them the truth, but I don't need this on on the internet.
Love that.
So I had known it was coming, and I had done a lot of things from 2002 really in preparation for it. Like, I had gone back to business school, and I had, you know, dabbled in real estate and writing and consulting, and, like, sort of mentally prepared for what was inevitably the end of my career. But then the sport kept going all right, and my, you know, rankings and income kept going all right. And I'm like, all right, maybe I could pull this off. But then it was painfully apparent, 2008, all right, it's time. And I think that next 6 to 12 months were definitely 6 of the 12 worst months of my life, if I'm totally honest. partially, I could not get a job to save my life, right? It was the great financial crisis, and there were no jobs. Especially, I was trying to get a job in sports in LA, which in hindsight, there aren't that many jobs in sports in LA, firstly, and everybody wants them.
It's not supposed to be that hard coming in with a Stanford degree either.
Well, that was part of it, right? I had definitely had like it's moving around here. My mic's all over. It's kind of, that'll do better now.
Yeah.
Anyway, part of it was, I think, either the assumption or the belief that like, well, I've got a bachelor's and a master's from Stanford. Mm-hmm. I got an MBA from UCLA. I've done this, and this, flipped real estate, written in been the player director, board of directors, been the editor of a magazine. Like, I'm going to get a job. Go ahead.
No, yeah. You also worked for the AVP?
That was after.
Okay, we're getting there. Got it.
And then it was just crickets. And, that feeling of job search with no responses, which was not a Canyon Ceman issue. It was the world's not having jobs right now issue,
right, yeah.
But you don't know that at the time, mm-hmm. right? You just know that like, I need a job and I don't have a job.
And you feel like you're elite at what you do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like.
And like one of the things about being a pro athlete, especially in beach volleyball, is a lot of your life is within your control. Mm-hmm. And you can see like, if I do X, the result will be Y.
Yes.
And if I don't do X, the result will be Z. Mm-hmm. With the job search, that was not the case, right? Like I thought I did everything right. I thought I had the right resume. I thought I was doing the networking. I thought I was doing the job search, and it was not happening. And I just went into a bad place.
Yeah.
And I had a 9-month-old, and the math in LA, as you know, the hard way, like it's real math.
Yeah.
When you got a family and you're trying to make it work, those are real numbers, and the months keep coming by.
Yes.
And so, I had done all the right stuff financially and saved my money and like done some real estate stuff. And I would, but still in 2008, now the market's down 50% and your real estate's down 30%, and your liquidity, which in hindsight now, like, rule number 1, be liquid enough to deal with a storm.
Right.
Is the reality was that I had to like make hard decisions. Okay, what am I going to do? Because I'm not getting a real job that I thought I was going to get, that I thought I was educated for. Mm-hmm. Okay, what next? So I went back into, my wife would definitely attest to this. I definitely was like depressed for 6 months. Yeah. It doesn't look like the deep dark hole in a movie, but it looks like I don't know what to do with my life. I'm not in control of my outcomes here. Yeah. I don't know that I'm the best guy to be like daycare for my 1-year-old, even though I love this child.
Right.
Her name was Cayenne.
Right. Yeah.
But like, this is different than the life I was living, and I don't know if I'm very good at this. I'm trying. And it just comes with all these doubts that when you're a pro athlete,
for sure,
even if you have some doubts, because I was never like I don't have any doubts, God, that wasn't me, but like real doubts
you
coming in.
You know how to shut it off.
Yeah, you got, and you're so used to like, here's what I do. If I've got a problem, I'm going to go work on my line shot.
Yes,
I'm
exactly. I'm going to fix it.
I'm going to go do Olympic lifting tomorrow to get more explosive.
Right, and then you feel good leaving the gym or something, right?
You're in control of something, right? So I ended up going back into coaching, and I coached Tyra Turner and Angie Akers for that 2009 year. And then that led back into becoming first a consultant and then a CFO of the AVP. Okay, yeah. Which then led to a bankruptcy of the AVP in 2010, which was very clearly a painful time to be in that position. Yeah. We can talk about that if you want, but the point is that was, 22 months later, things were still not stable by any stretch, right? Yep. I had some income and a job, and by doing the things that I was most, I guess, qualified for, which is be around the sport of volleyball and add value with my brain instead of my body. But by no means was it stable, because now the AVP bankrupt, and like I was just the CFO of a thing that went bankrupt. That's not like a great resume builder.
Right.
And so it was another like, oh crap moment. Mm-hmm. And now I had my second child. And as you know, now that you have 2 children, like dad's much more involved once you have a second child.
Yes, 100%.
And yet the income requirement has just gone up another bit.
Yes.
And as the income requirement goes up, you have a smaller and smaller set of options. And so again, can I get a job in sports? I don't know. And then finally, I switched. I was like, all right, this is not meant to be. And I switched my focus from pursuing volleyball to finance. Mm-hmm. That was at the time looking at sort of startup financial advisory roles at Merrill Lynch or Sanford Bernstein, and got some offers. And then at the last minute, got this offer out of left field to join a hedge fund from a gentleman named Mark Fishman, who I'm very thankful for because he gave me a good job at a time I needed it.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize.
Yep.
I know Mark well.
He's been around the sport now for a while. Some people might know who he is, but at the time he had maybe probed buying the AVP, and we had some honest talks about like, unless you have strategic sponsorship income in your back pocket, like it's tough business.
Yeah.
So anyway, I told him the truth at a hard time, and he's like, "I respect you for that," and he gave me an opportunity. So
cool.
I went to a hedge fund, and that took my family to Connecticut. And in hindsight, if you sort of zoom out, I go like, it was time to just like cut the cord from the volleyball life I had been living for the previous years. And so
hard to do if you stay in LA.
Very hard to do if you stay in LA, and hard to do if you're in Honolulu, to be honest.
Okay.
So I'll
fair.
be curious where you are on this, and I'd love to shift it back to you after I finish this transition story. But so got back to Connecticut. My wife and I had that moment, like, what are we going to do? Took the opportunity in Connecticut, moved my family of 4 back to Connecticut. And in like 7 months, it was like painfully obvious that I was not meant to be at a hedge fund. And the hedge fund came to a similar conclusion about me, and also had some bit of a crisis happen that they ended up divesting from fixed income where I focused. And all of a sudden now it's January of 2012 and I don't have a job again. So now we're like 3.5 years later, and none of this has been smooth. And I went from 35 years of golden child to 3 years of thankfully for my wife, she stuck with the program, and I guess I am thankful for my wife, not thankfully for her. And I ended up in that sort of winter finding this up. She helped me, met some people, found an opportunity at WWE. So why don't we pause the transition moment?
I love that,
because I think we've got some stuff to talk about there. But I'm curious. Maybe I would think your audience is curious. Like, where are you in the thinking about how yours is going? What comes next? I know we're like 10 days into it. But the point is, you clearly had thought about it, or you wouldn't have made this decision.
Right.
And your dad's listening, so this better be a good answer.
Dad's in the peanut gallery. I'm in an interesting place. Like, I don't come from like a back. Like, I never really was like, I'm gonna get my USC degree and I'm gonna use it and get work for a big company, and like that's just not how my brain worked. I was just very present in volleyball and what I wanted to do, but I knew in the back of my mind I got to learn something. I got to expand my value in some way. So whatever I'm doing in volleyball, I'm gonna try to learn. So I joined the board. I did the board of directors for USA Volleyball. I learned what board of directors is and how a corporation works, whatever. I got an agent, a sports agent, but I wanted to be in on all the meetings. I wanted to hear, so I just tried to learn things along the way. Advertising. I dealt with sponsors as much as I could. Obviously we built this, so I'm kind of becoming a jack of all trades. And I have a business, exactly. So I've built value in that kind of stuff, but like here at the end of it all, I kind of feel like I'm just kind of open-minded. I don't have a clear picture of what I want to do. Yeah. And I feel like maybe people think, because I keep hearing the question, what are you going to do now? It's like, I don't know. Yeah. And I think that's a good thing, to stay open-minded and not be rigid of like, okay, well, I'm going to get into real estate because I have a degree in policy planning and development and the real estate track from USC, and I got to use those Trojan contacts to, I feel like there's such a pull to do that. Whereas now I'm just like, and like you said, kids, the financial situation living here, it's a little stressful for sure. My wife's she's been doing kind of the opposite, like letting me thrive in volleyball and like go all in all these years, but she's really skilled in all these other ways. And I've not holding her back, but like as a family, we've been putting our resources into letting me fulfill my potential as a volleyball player, knowing that it was going to end at some point. So now the main thing is to like shift that energy over to her and let it, let's push her stuff along, which feels great to me because I don't know what I want to do. It's the greatest thing in the world and the hardest thing in the world to think that I'm going to be dadding more. It sounds weird to say, right? Because you're like, you just hang out with your kids. Like, no, it's so hard, especially as an athlete, to just be like, man, I got stuff to do right now. I can't just be sitting here wiping up your snot all day. Like,
could be busy all
dude,
day.
We've been doing this for hours. Like, I gotta do something productive, bro. But I'm leaning into that transition, and I think the 2 years that I was out, I learned how to deal with that stress, that maybe that little depression that comes along. Hasn't quite hit me at this particular moment, but maybe the anxiousness of not knowing what's next and having that control over what is coming. I've learned how to be okay with it, with all the mindfulness work I've done over the years. But yeah, it's scary, and just a lot of uncertainty. We don't know where we want to end up and live, and we got family in Hawaii, we got family here, so we know we want to be either or both, but also, man, I haven't stepped away from volleyball like ever in my life, pretty much since I was like 15 years old. So maybe it'd be cool to step back from it. I got a text from April Ross that is so nice, congratulating me, but also like, if you want to get into coaching opportunities, and it's so tempting to be like, well, yeah, April Ross and USA Volleyball are asking me to get into coaching. Like, I'm like, I want to give back, but no, I got to like step back and like, relax for a second and let it all come in. Take meetings with people like you who are thankfully like you're nice enough to want to offer me the new perspective and the lessons that you've learned and whatnot. But yeah, that's my long answer.
That's a great answer. Honestly, it's a great answer. I hope it's still the same answer on like November,
right,
30th.
right, yeah. Day 10, day 10, and I got a little 3-day sailing trip in between. So really, I haven't really sunk into reality.
I had two thoughts while you were saying that. One is, I've done now another big transition, which we'll get into. But the point is, the first transition I did, I look back on it, and I spent too much time looking at not the closing door of volleyball, but the closing door of like sports jobs. At the time, I was like, no, I want to get a job in sports.
I got to be in sports, right?
And I just looked at that, and it was nothing but red lights for like a year, and then the bankruptcy, and then more red lights, and I stared at those red lights, being like, why?
Yeah.
Instead of like either proactively seeking other green lights or seeing the green lights that were around me in other directions. For example, 2 months into trying to get a job in finance, I had multiple offers because maybe they valued what I was more than the sports world valued what I was for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But that's sort of one, is that there will be green lights that come to you. Take note.
Right.
There will be red lights that come to you.
Yeah.
Take note. Doesn't mean you have to act on them right away, which I strongly agree with your decision. Like, let me just feel this for a little bit.
Yeah.
As opposed to, yes, I'll have the coaching job.
Yeah.
The other one is to sort of have the feeling of, I'm not sure yet. I had the exact same feeling. And you have a beautiful situation in that you have a supportive wife and clearly like some ramp here.
Yeah.
I had a similar situation. But at some point, decisions will be thrust on you by forces beyond your control, right?
Yep.
And not knowing where you're going, great, embrace it for a while. But if someone asks you the question of where you want to go, you want to give them an answer. And the reason is that they want to help you. There's a future time that person either might have forgotten your name or is less interested in the outcome or life happens. At that moment in time, they're presenting themselves as, I want to help you.
Yeah.
And you need to give them something to grab onto. It doesn't have to be the only answer. Right? There can be 5 answers for 5 audiences, or there can be whatever the answer for the SANDCAST audience is versus I'm talking to whatever, a hirer audience.
Yeah.
Like, the point is, you have thoughts. Given the audience of the answer, give them an answer. Because they want to help you and they need to know how they can help you.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, I said that answer a lot of like, I'm not sure. So then if someone really well positioned to help you in a very specific way doesn't immediately gather that they can help you in that way, they're like, cool, good luck.
Right.
Best to you.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I think what I need for the ask, right? It's the ask. What I would love from you is a connection to this, knowing that you probably can offer it. So
is that like becoming more clear about what your values are and like kind of like a general, so you can give them kind of a general direction. These are the things I like. This is where my interest is at.
Yeah, I think
they can kind of maybe put two and two together and figure out if you're right for that versus just being like, I don't know. Yeah. What do you have?
Right. That the answer doesn't help a person help you.
Right.
And they want to help you. And that's sort of goes to another one, which is, I mentioned this when we met in private. this is sort of for everybody in the post-athletic career transition, is like, at this time in your life, there are a lot of people that want to help you,
right,
and that want to know you still. Like you just got a Fifth in Manhattan, you got the spotlight,
yeah,
and you're really good at volleyball, and you have a currency that is very easily explainable, right. Whether it's fame, a spotlight, an actual skill set of I can show you how to hit a better away from body from the left hit,
for sure.
And like that's a currency you should use while you have it. And I don't mean that in a transactional way. I mean that in a by simply being you are providing some value or interesting information to people who would love to provide value back to you. Mm-hmm. And again, it sounds transactional, but the point is it's like transactional in the best way.
Value, yeah.
We are helping each other from strength.
Yes, right.
I can help you from this position of strength I still occupy.
Right.
And you can help me from whatever your position of strength is. And let's see if there's something to do here.
Yeah.
Go for it, right? Do that.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't last forever. Mm-hmm. Right. And mining the network, but in a very specific way to like, your followership might have a half-life. You might not want to do SANDCAST for 10 more years. It might be awesome for one more year while you're really stoked about volleyball.
Totally.
Or have a lot to say still, but there's going to be a time where it's much less of a factor in your life.
Right.
10,000 people would love to contribute in some way to the evolution of your life in a positive direction.
Right.
That's both to you and to the general transitional person. Like, those are some thoughts I have.
Yeah. No, I think that's good advice. And just good to be open to hearing all this advice and taking it in versus being kind of closed-minded. I think another thing you told me, and I was kind of explaining to you, you're like, I guess you asked maybe what am I into kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was telling you what I'm not very good at.
Right.
And you were telling me, don't lead with that, first of all, and don't sell yourself short. Just because you haven't been doing it doesn't mean you're not necessarily good at it, right? Yeah. Like you said, you were originally thought you had to be in sports because that's where your strengths are, that's where your interest is, versus just being open. Maybe you're good at all these things in sports, but what are the chances that you've tested all your skill sets and like found all your skill sets? Like you haven't.
Yeah. So
to like just say that you're not good at something or you're not interested in it before you actually see it through, or maybe it's not the most interesting thing, but it's the coolest staff or community that you're a part of. You're like, I don't care what I'm doing. This is awesome.
Exactly. It's exactly
something like that.
Yeah. And I'll also say, there's a set of attributes that I think about a lot, what I'll call high performance attributes. One of the reasons I that people respected you is you demonstrate a lot of them, right? So it's clearly a discipline, clearly a growth mindset, clearly resilient, clearly creative, proactive, dynamic thinking, soulful, introspective, mindfulness. Like there's all these attributes that go along with high performance.
Yeah.
They're the same attributes that go along with high performance in life, right?
Yeah.
And in other jobs. And the hirer that you will eventually want to work for, and maybe you'll never work for someone else. Maybe you and your wife will have an amazing family business. Whatever. Right. That's not the point. The point is the hirer that learns those attributes that you possess will want to hire you.
Yeah.
And if they don't take the time to want to learn them, they weren't the right hirer.
Right.
And if they learn them and don't want to hire them, then you didn't want to work there anyway.
Right.
So like you have these attributes by having had the life you've had, by having had the athletic success you've had, by having been the kind of pro athlete. There's lots of kinds of pro athletes. Not all of them are the same kind.
Yeah, no, this is beach volleyball.
Especially.
You come out with skill sets. You're well-traveled and you grinded.
Yeah. There's a lot, not just the high performance ones, but the adaptive, flexible. Totally. I can deal with all kinds of humans.
Yes,
I can handle myself in all kinds of situations. Anyway, you get the point.
Yeah.
The point is that's all valuable stuff. And as opposed to telling me what you aren't good at, tell me all those ones. Mm-hmm. And I'll decide if I might hire you or whatever. If I have an opportunity for you, I might say like, look, you're not going to love this, but I think you can figure it out in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And if you really hate it, then there's AI, there's another hire, we can figure that part out.
And that's the confidence that I do have now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what I want to do or how good I'll be at it, but I'm just confident that I can figure it out. Yeah. I think that's the confidence that I got from this beach volleyball career kind of thing.
But not just the career, also the way it ended, right?
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
You wouldn't have as much resilience, confidence if you hadn't been resilient.
I'd still be grinding probably if I was.
You'd still be playing, first of all.
I'd still be playing if I was too scared of what's next, I'd say. And it's funny, on that same subject, my buddy started a tech company up in San Francisco, and his coworker, we all went out for a drink one night, and he was like, I'm pretty sure he was joking. I was like, you're crazy if you're not joking. But he's like, dude, come work for us. I got a position available, 100 grand a month or something, and you could do it. And my buddy like knows me like super well. Yeah. He's like, no, shut up. We're not. Stop offering try jobs. I was like, wait, bro, 100 grand a month. No, we don't. I'm totally available for this thing. He's like, no. But it was like an example of that. Like, for some reason in that moment, he's like, dude, and that was his excuse. He's like, bro, this guy's an Olympic athlete. Like, he did this, that. He was like, impressed by what I had done, and thinks that he's like, I don't care if you know what you're doing. Like, you could probably do this job just based on, what I've accomplished, not based on knowing that actual information. Right. I don't think that job was right for me.
But the data's real. Like, if you look around at like how do post-collegiate athletes do as professionals? Really well.
Yeah.
Especially in certain fields that favor extroversion, that favor competitiveness, that favor relationships, that favor teamwork. Like,
Yeah.
It's real.
100 grand a month would be nice.
That's
that Silicon Valley stuff. Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Okay, so post-career
WWE.
Yeah. I'm so interested in it.
Yeah.
First of all, I just watched the the Untold docuseries.
There's all kinds of content out there.
Netflix just went behind the scenes and really like let you behind the curtain to see what happened. And it was Unreal. Yeah. And that was really entertaining to me because I think of our sport in that way. I'm always trying to picture the entertainment value of it, and I've personally always felt we've come up short. Mm-hmm. But to have someone that knows AVP the way that you do, played for it, worked for it, and then went to WWE, I'm so curious just what your perspective is on it. And well, first of all, how'd you get into it? We kind of got there, but what was
so that life that you just described of behind the scenes of the WWE, that's what I lived for 10 years. Like, I was very close to to where it was happening.
That's a successful business.
That's a very successful business. I worked directly for Triple H. So Paul Levesque's his real name. Triple H is his stage name. He's now the chief creative officer, sort of.
Yeah, he's the star of Unreal, the show. Yeah,
sort of Dana White for the UFC.
Yes.
Paul Levesque for WWE. He's the creative pencil. Vince McMahon for 40 plus years was always the guy. Uh-huh. There's all kinds of scandal around that, and ended the way it ended.
You can watch another documentary on that one.
But Paul Levesque is the current chief creative officer and the guy who writes all the creative with a team for WWE. And that is a lot of content, like hundreds and hundreds of hours of content a year. And they're a content creation machine of all kinds.
It's like writing a TV show that just keeps going, right?
Yes. Live, scripted but unscripted.
Right.
Predetermined outcomes, but not all of it's predetermined. There's a lot of improvisation. The performance art itself is amazing. Yes. I'm a big fan of it. If the more you know about it, the more you realize like how difficult this thing that these guys are doing is, and girls. Super talented athletes doing super skilled things. Nuts. Plus add the element of the unexpected, an injury, an improvised outcome that needs to happen, a fan reaction that you got to deal with, a TV thing that happens. As we all know, TV can kind of disrupt your, the amount of inputs they have to deal with and then still put an entertaining product on the screen is an amazing,
pro sports,
an amazing performance.
Mixed with theater, mixed with live TV, and
Shakespeare plus, plus fights,
but also real physicality, injury, athleticism, like gnarly injuries. We're like, well, there's no going back now. I got to let him throw me off this freaking 6-foot tower onto a metal ladder. Here we go.
Fearlessness.
Hopefully I land okay.
Like cojones, like people.
And if you get injured, that hurts your livelihood.
Absolutely. And you need to protect your opponent from getting injured. Like, that's one of the true crafts, is to do all of this that looks physical and amazing and brutal and do it safely.
Acting that you want to kill them, but really you're trying to protect them at the same time.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely, I wouldn't say I was a huge fan as an adult. As a child I was, but as an adult I wasn't really. I was a lapsed fan.
In elementary. Yeah. The Triple H days, the Wolfpack, and Triple H, right? All that,
Mine was a little younger than that, but...
Undertaker.
Yeah. And so I got to work there, and I learned all kinds of stuff about entertainment, about sports. I also saw a lot of commonality of like, what makes a great pro wrestler? Oh, it's the same stuff that makes a great pro beach volleyball player. And that is discipline, and that is growth mindset, and that is being creative, and that is taking care of your body, and that is being adaptable and flexible, and that is playing the political game properly and getting yourself into the right positions, and that is that is being a good teammate.
Entertainer.
Entertainer doesn't necessarily help you win a volleyball match, but it helps you be a professional.
That's the piece. Sure. Yeah, that's the piece.
And so, okay, you're obviously interested in that, my opinion on that. So, like, when I think of the entertainers of beach volleyball, right, Hovland, Dodd, Smith, Stoklos come to mind as the ultimate, like, they're the reason that we all have careers, right? Okay. They were the OGs. Like you said, I was the OG. I was about 15 years behind the real OGs, right? Okay. 10. And, there was even there were plenty of generations before that. But if you said, who made this an actual professional sport? It's that sort of 84 World Championships where they went on strike and now the AVP was formed. And it was, a lot of it was built on the back of St. John and Randy and Hovland and Dodd going around the country with a bunch of other teams. Yeah. But to be totally frank, none of them were at that level. And they would promote this sport with their last ounce of sweat. They would go in early, they would stay late, they would be at every party, they would say all the controversial things, then they would go and put on a great show with emotion, with at the finals, like what's not showed now is a lot of the semis and quarters were beatdowns, right? But the finals were amazing competitive matches with guys fully free in their like testosterone emotion and in a beach party setting. Yes. And that was entertaining. And like, I'm sure you saw that. When I was a kid, you would just be groveling to get a spot in the 9th row in the sand for the Manhattan Open, quarterfinals. And so you could be close and hear really what they were saying. And like that, but they were given space to say it. Yeah. And the matches had duration. And I always, I'm obviously diverting from WWE, but one of the things that was lost when they changed the rules in 2000, and I've accepted most of it. Yes. I'm still not totally accepting all of it. But the biggest one that bothers me, it's not the size of the court. That didn't help me personally. It actually hurt me a lot. But it's the side out scoring and the fact that just about every match is, 40 to 60 minutes, and anybody who gets a real lead is most likely winning the match in each game. And so there's not the soul of the game of beach volleyball was the extended drama of a tight match that was 8-8, 9-9, 10-10, 11-11, or 14-10, but they just stopped giving up points and we're coming back. Right. And, you think about the U.S. Open in tennis happening right now. What do you love? It's the 5-setter. It's the classic, right? And you'll watch a bunch of crap matches to get to the classic. That's what AVP used to have, is that, you might have a bunch of crap matches in a day, but there was 5 classics every day that were going 15-13 or 19-17, and they were going to go for an hour and 45 minutes, and it was going to be mental warfare, and people were going to emote, and there was going to be controversy, and there was going to be a freak out, and there was going to be a dive into the stands where the kids were just sitting in this little corner pocket of the sand, and there was going to be fan interaction, and there's going to be heckler, and there was going to be real like human experience and emotion in this dramatic game that was extended in time.
And the fans were going to feel it.
And the fans were going to feel it.
Yeah.
Triple H had a thing. They won't remember what you said. They'll remember how you make them feel. Right? Yeah. If you watch an old school volleyball match, you felt like you were part of an experience. Combination of a beach party festival and like a proper like display of human will combined with attitude.
Oh, and that quote would be on my wall if I was the CEO of the tour.
And obviously I have a lot of opinions about this, and I know why. Like, I get it. We need to have a televisable time segment.
For sure.
And controllable things that global audience can understand.
Sell it, yeah.
Like, I understand the logic, but logic isn't always the right answer. Sometimes emotion and soul is the right answer. Yeah. And I think the pendulum of beach volleyball has swung too far away from soulful competition to the logic of the Olympics. This is the way it's done, and this is the corporate sponsorship package, and this is the timeline we have, and we have to have 37 matches today. And like, I don't know that like I care enough at 19-11 in the second game. Like I've watched 40 minutes of amazing. Like when I watch Mole and Sorum, I'm like, damn, these guys are good at volleyball.
Yes, exactly.
Do they make me feel? I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
Hovland Dodd made me feel every time.
Yeah.
Karch and Kent, in a different way, they made you feel. You know, you could, at the time, they were so good
Pretty
that
robotic with it.
They brought it up so high that like a lot of their matches were just beatdowns.
Right.
But there was still in their dominance. Mm-hmm. You could feel it.
And you don't want it to be fake either.
No.
So you got to respect the people for just focusing on the task at hand.
Which was Phil and Todd, you know.
Yeah.
I would love to have them have been more entertainers, but it wouldn't have been authentic, right?
Yeah, that's my question is how do you make it authentic, allow these people just focus on the task at hand, but bring out something more.
Yeah.
And I think what comes to mind with these Sinjins and Dodds and them back in the day was that they had ownership in the success of the tour.
Not actual equity ownership, but like soulful ownership.
But also AVP originally was started by the player. Right?
Yeah.
I think they realized that this thing's only going as far as we take it, and we're taking it into our own hands.
Yes, exactly that.
Whereas that's not the case at all. Like we athletes show up now and they're just like, we don't know anything about anything. Just like, please give me the opportunity to play.
Right.
And that's it. And I'll show up and leave. Whereas if we had some kind of value in it, I don't know, some kind of ownership in it, and we had that feeling hey, I'm going early. Like, I don't care if you pay me or whatever. I'm going early to go, which is why I really wanted to be a part of this league.
Yeah.
It's funny that I missed it, but you give me a city.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to go promote this thing myself. I'm going to show up early. I'm going to bring SANDCAST out. I want to, do my own thing and build the value of this because I could see that I can build something on my own. And I feel like there's not really that. And then we don't promote the players. I would educate the players more. I would find people who are experts in these things. Maybe consult with people like you have been in WWE and then communicate this to the players. Like, hey, there's value in showing emotion to the fans, and here's how you can do it. Here's ways maybe you can do it. And the social media stuff's important, but it's really hard to learn, and things are evolving. So helping the players, educate them. A lot of them are just coming straight out of college right now. But it all comes down to, at the end of the day, this that Triple H quote, really. Like, how can we make the fans feel more? And I mean, this is part of why I'm retiring too. Like, the energy's kind of leaving for me too. The like, what am I gonna miss out on? Yeah. If I leave now. It's a bummer, right? Bummer. Like I'm traveling, I'm getting on the plane, I'm like, I don't really want to, like, like there's not much as much to gain here. There's not much. What excites me is the fans. Yeah. That's my favorite thing in all the sport is that big crowd. That's why I love Brazil. Yeah. Best fan base.
It's great.
Like, did you guys just rehearse this, or does everyone in the country know these chants? Like, you guys sync up instantly. You're fighting for your teams, no matter what. Whatever round, you're in the stands for them, and you hate me. Yeah. And I respect it. I love it. And they come up to me after, and I think they're going to attack me because the way that they're cheering, and they're getting autographed. That was amazing, bro. I was like, damn, you were just screaming at me. Yeah. They're just the best fans, and those are some of my best memories.
God, I love playing in Brazil.
Yeah.
So many times, 4-man, 2-man, whatever it is. Like, exactly. You feel like it matters more down there. Mm-hmm. Plus the acai bowl and the churrascaria and the caipirinha and the beaches of Copacabana. Like, it's just good living down there.
Do you think there is space to mix this WWE? I'm definitely not saying we turned it into theater or anything scripted, but like, are there things that we could take as a sport?
I mean, I think the idea of character development and storytelling need to be leaned into at all levels, whether women's indoor college, whether the pro indoor women's leagues, whether beach volleyball. There are interesting humans doing this stuff with real stories to tell, right?
They don't send us, like, we don't go out and we're like, I would put my athletes in front of the Junior Olympics. I would send them to the Junior Olympics and put them in a booth and have them signing autographs and put big cardboard cutouts. Like, this stuff's not that expensive. More opportunities maybe for these athletes to make money. They're being a part of it. Yep. Hey, if we grow, you grow, kind of thing. Like, having these talks.
Part of it's the way the broadcasts are. Like, there needs to be space and time to tell these stories a little bit.
Yes.
I think the refs need to be in on it because we talked about earlier. Like, the refs give you, like, you made a bad call. I'm trying to like have some emotion about it.
No, for sure.
But all the power is in your hands, and you get to give me a red card 3 seconds into our fight.
And like if you're gonna get a red card, like let the people see.
Yeah, I'll take my red, but we're gonna talk about this one for a while.
Let the people see people freak out. They want to see it. You know, like let them have this freak out. Not like red card again. You're like, whoa,
game over.
I was gonna like, let me rip the net down real quick.
That's a big one for me. Is there's just this overregulation of the timeline and we need to run for TV. Like, okay, well, every other sport in the history of the planet's figured out how to not have TV totally dictate to them. Mm-hmm. And again, the U.S. Open is the best example, but it comes back to the audience size, right? Which that's really the monkey in the room or whatever, or the elephant in the room. Is that how did the audience size? How big was it ever? And what is it now? Mm-hmm. Kent's written about this a fair amount. Yeah, he and I disagree on a lot of things, but like on a lot of the basic business stuff, like it's real, right? Okay, the audience size. If you strip away everything else, what's the problem? It's the audience size, right? Why don't more people care about beach volleyball? You could have long debates on that.
For sure.
I would argue one of the things is that by going after the casual fan, we've alienated the hardcore fan, because we've taken some of the soul and beach festival out of it. But the actual on-court competition might not be as compelling enough to get the casual fan, because there's no emotion in it and there's no extended drama in it. And so how can we shift that dial back a little bit away from pure on-court top-shelf performance to storytelling and drama and emotion? Look, you could write a book about that. You probably, Travis probably did, right? So,
right. Well, there's just not that many moments in beach volleyball.
That's exactly
moments would be, and I'm not.
No, you've hit it. I
don't want to.
WWE says it's moments. We sell moments
that people remember.
Remember because of the way they make you feel. Mm-hmm. Beach volleyball used to have them and does not have them anymore, and they need them. Mm-hmm. It's that extended comeback. It's that 20-minute amazing comeback. It's gone.
It's that random
upset of the 32 over the
pushing
one.
Trevor. Not that we're like trying to push fighting or whatever, you know, but like stuff like that. Maybe I don't know. Yeah. Anything like that. Yeah. The moments.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's the moments, and every other pro sport that's broken through, they would argue the same, I would think.
I think that needs to move higher in terms of priorities. Yeah. Because if something's entertaining, I feel like everything else falls in place. Yeah. But you got to have the product first. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, and this is something players I think should be educated on early on. Just remember you're an entertainer. Like this sport doesn't exist. This job doesn't exist if there's not fans watching. Exactly. Sometimes we weirdly do play in front of no fans, and I don't understand what we're doing. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I'll fly across the whole world to do that sometimes, and then I'm really like, all right, this is ridiculous. For example, my last FIVB in China. Yeah. I'm walking to the side courts, and these fans are trying to come watch. Security's like, no fans. No fans were allowed to watch the outside courts because they wanted them all in the stadium. But I'm like, dude, what if there's a hardcore fan just flew across China and he wants to watch his favorite player? There's so many good court matches going. This is crazy. Yeah. This guy wants to watch me play, and you're not going to let him? Yeah. What are we doing here? Yeah. But I love that. Maybe AVP, they're always listening, We're just giving some advice. Who knows?
No comment.
No comment.
I do think you can sort of see green shoots, though. There's green shoots.
Yeah, totally.
Like this Newport 4-man coming up is intriguing to me, and they're doing this, the FIVB tournament there.
Yeah.
You can almost feel like a grassroots like beach festival. They're still alive, right?
Yeah.
Seaside exists. Motherlode exists. The Wapika boat, I never got to it, but they it's out there. If you and it's not maybe ever going to make a bunch of pro volleyball players a ton of money, but the soul of volleyball is it's still there. And then you have this whole thing, which is the rise of women's beach, which is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yes.
And the rise of women's indoor, that's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. And now the pro leagues, probably eventually one will survive, right? Maybe two. But the point is there's real eyeballs on those. And so volleyball is alive and well. Beach volleyball has this huge tailwind behind it, which is all of the resources going in from age 10 to 22 for all these girls to go get college scholarships. Yes. And there's something's coming from that. I don't know if it's a reality show, if it's just for the year after they graduate college, they get to come play on the transitional tour. I don't know what it is.
Right.
There's something coming, right? There's just too much behind it, too many athletes. too many stories to tell, like resources. It's coming. So I don't know. I do have hope. I've talked to a few like my old school friends that are in power positions. They're like, the LA Olympics in 28.
Totally.
Like, I'm no like Pollyanna that just, we're just about to have the major resurgence, but like there are reasons to have hope.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
And I think you and I have both been through it a lot and too much to like think, oh, it'll just be fixed and stuff. Do these three things and it's fine. But there is hope. There are so many young athletes entering it. There are so many jobs. All of our friends have jobs.
Yeah.
Real good jobs.
Totally.
Stein Metzger is making a great living as the head coach of Texas.
Yeah.
Jenny Johnson-Jordan at UCLA. You name another 50 of our friends,
right? Exactly.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's great. There are more real jobs in volleyball.
Yeah.
They're just not necessarily as pro beach volleyball players.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's like almost the consequence of doing a bunch of stuff right. And I don't know.
Right.
It's hard to ever...
I think the value's there.
Yeah.
It's just the cream cheese is just kind of spread thin.
Yeah.
And we always are looking at like the success of the sport is like, at least us pros, right? Like of the pros making a ton of money and us being on TV kind of thing. But I don't know, grass is always greener. And I think we need to appreciate what we do have now, and that we do have the interest, we do have fans, we do have the players, we do have a growth pipeline through AVP, beach, collegiate, and NCAA, and indoor as well through collegiate and USA Volleyball, and so it's there, and like I don't know, we should probably appreciate that a little bit more. Too.
I wanted to turn it positive.
League too, the league, like that's been getting a lot of negativity, but new people coming in,
they had to try something,
new ideas.
There's 40 years of it not working. Like we got to try something different.
You heard me a few times. Like I was so excited to play in it. That's why I was so crushing to find myself somehow out of it. But I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
There's
something to be said for like same city, same weekend every year, same, if it's the same venue, great, that'll build over time. Yeah, I mean, that's what every other sport's done, right?
There's the hardcore fan that, you get a lot of flack from because they know that have had those moments and they have those feelings, and it never came from what we have now. Right. So it's scary and whatnot, but
I think this Chicago tournament should be good.
I hope so.
The league championship. Like I said, the level of volleyball is crazy high. That's not the issue, right? So it's like something about the storytelling, the emotion, the extending the drama, it's a hard business. It just is.
Yeah.
I saw it from the inside. I was a CFO, and it's a hard business. And how can we grow the audience? These are not easy questions. If it was easy, someone would have done it in the last 45 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what you're up to now. You're not with WWE anymore. What did you transition to next?
Yeah, so I moved my family back out here from Connecticut to LA about 3 years ago. And long story short, I have bought myself into a book of business with a partner who was a high school volleyball teammate, a guy named Greg Schenkel. We operate Marine Wealth Advisors. We do financial advice for families, businesses, individuals, and investment management and retirement planning and financial planning, all that good stuff. And I find it really meaningful. I really like helping people with that. It's something I've sort of been aligned with and passionate about my whole life, about making good financial decisions. Volleyball kind of makes you make good financial decisions.
Right, yeah.
And having a high performance mindset, growth mindset, discipline, it all kind of goes the same direction of how do you live the best life you can with the resources available to you, and how do you, maximize your resources, and how do you live a disciplined financial life. It all kind of goes together in my brain. And so talking about it and helping clients with that, I really enjoy. So that's what, my third act, final act maybe is. I intend to do that for, the rest of my life. It's entrepreneurial. I'm now, when my partner retires, I'm going to be my own business owner. And again, that sort of resonates with being a pro athlete. Like you're a business owner, right? And there's something more natural about running your own business than like working for someone, even if the someone's a good job, but still someone else's job.
If you fail, you want it to be on your own turn. You want it to be because of your decisions.
It's like the man in the arena, Teddy Roosevelt quote.
Yes.
That's one of my favorites.
Yes.
Like I want to be in the arena and like living by my own actions. And so that's what we're doing. And I want to do a good job for my clients. And my family came back here and my kids are as for an indoor volleyball scholarship.
Oh, heck yeah.
And, she's a right sider. Maybe can she play left? We'll see.
Yeah.
And then so that, I would love to help anybody listen to this and do a good job for you, providing a financial service for you. That's the capitalist pitch. And the other thing that I'm finding a lot of joy in, I told you I took like a 10-year kind of hiatus from volleyball. Yeah. Like I had that rough end of the career and then the AVP bankruptcy and then it's time to leave town.
Yeah.
Just cut the cords. So I got out of town. But while a lot of people stayed and maybe played themselves into either their body doesn't feel good or they're just over it, I came back and I'm just ready to play volleyball.
Love
and that's,
that.
On a Thursday morning, I'll play with Nancy Mason and Misty May and Rachel Wacholder. I'll set them in 4-woman and that's fun.
Yeah.
On Saturday mornings, I'll play at 22nd Street and play 6-man or 4-man with a bunch of either some pro players, but mostly a lot of college players that are, somewhere between 40 and 60, a few older than that, a few younger. And we get some kids in, a lot of second generation. My daughter will come play. There'll be a lot of other kids there.
Heck yeah.
And it's just a nice level that I can still be an A in, but, let's just say I'm not dominating anywhere, but it's still a fun level that feels right,
Yeah.
And then... Also, I'm coaching the Maricosta High School boys volleyball team.
Oh, sick.
So we won the national title and state title and CIF title last year. And, that just feels good to kind of give back to the place that I got my start. Coach Mike Cook was like our legendary high school coach when I was there. And he's still there helping. And I'm like, you know what, I'm going to give back. And so there's head coach Greg Snyder that's doing what I'll call the hard work. And I'm coming in to just help kids learn how to be better at, the finer things.
And you're sending off a lot of good players out off to college in good positions. I keep hearing of certain guys doing it.
It's a real talent factory.
Doing it. Yeah, exactly.
Last year, I want to say we had 7 seniors get
into
D1.
I kept hearing about them.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, just thank you. Thanks for reaching out to me. And, it wasn't pitching anything at all, but just genuinely offering your thoughts and knowledge. And it's cool that you're offering that to other athletes too that are maybe transitioning.
Yeah, that's a real offer. It's a passionate topic of mine is how to do it right.
Yeah, I can tell it's genuine. I appreciate it.
How to get through it. It's not easy. It's identity, it's financial, it's what you love to do, it's how you have to spend your time. It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, we could go all day, but we got to get you to pick up the kids. How can people contact you if they want to?
It'll be in the notes, but
okay. Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes.
I'll just say my email. It's canyon@marinewealthadvisors.com. There's a website. Thanks for asking that, so I could give that. And whether it's for athletic career transitions or financial advice, I'm open to the inquiry and generally looking to help. It's kind of the phase of my life I'm in. I want to do things the right way. I want to help people around me. I want to deliver value. I want to those who much is given, much is expected, kind of thing. And
love that.
It's time to give back.
Appreciate it. Setting a
Thanks
good
for having
example
me on
for
this.
us.
I like what you're doing, and I wish you well on your transition.
Thank you, bro.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Shoots.